Oh, fancy meeting you here, YouTube crew. Just making some mushroom coffee. And let's get the ad out of the way right away. So, there is a paid affiliate ad in the description of this video. It is so you can save 15% on Ryze mushroom coffee. And I'm making some right now. Here's the teapot. It's getting hot. And I'll show you the process. How about that? So, it's very simple. We're going to make regular mushroom coffee here with the regular old superfood creamer. So it's got 6 different mushrooms in it. We're talking cordyceps, shiitake, lion's mane, turkey tail, reishi, and king trumpet mushrooms. Those are both in the coffee and in the creamer. It's all vegan. But anyway, check out the description. The link down there, it'll save you 15% on your mushroom coffee. So that's what's up. And yeah, I think you'll like it. I was surprised at how freaking good it tastes. It tastes fantastic. And look, I haven't heard anybody say it tastes anything other than excellent. So yeah, it's it could be well worth it, especially if you're like fitness minded. Are you trying to lose weight? Things like that. There is caffeine in it. It's about 45 grams per cup, I believe, is what the packaging states. But don't take my word on it. Click the link in the description, and you can find out all by yourself. Because you probably know how to read and write and arithmetic and so on. So now I like to put sugar in mine as well. But today, I think I'm going to leave it out. I want to see what it tastes like just with the creamer and the mushroom coffee. So if you're wondering what's in the creamer, by the way, it's coconut milk powder, which consists of coconut milk, tapioca, maltodextrin, acacia fiber, coconut water powder, Ryze mushroom blend, which is cordyceps, reishi, king trumpet, shiitake, turkey tail, and lion's mane, vanilla flavor, bacillus coagulans, that's a probiotic, at about 1 billion CFU. So there you go. And again, it is vegan. It is also organic. Allow me to consume a piece of ginger here before I take my clothes off on camera. Hey, there's Kimberly. Good night, Kimberly. I'm not sure if they have decaf. Click the link. Check it out. I'm not sure. Now, just so you know, the pack that I bought, it's the Ritual pack, and it also includes this. The best stirrer that I've ever owned. It comes with this acacia bowl. It comes with this 1 tablespoon scoop and this stir spoon. So just a great value. That is the best value. The Ritual pack also comes with 2 full packs of this mushroom coffee, 1 pack of the regular creamer, 1 pack of pumpkin spice creamer, and 3 travel size packs. Let's see. The bright and smooth, as well as the rich and robust, and 1 creamer pack. So I guess those are probably for travel. I'm not sure. But we just keep those to the side. And yeah, it's brilliant. And I'll show you the process here. It looks like the water is just about to be boiling. So, and thanks for leaving comments, Kimberly, Bruce, and Dirk. Yeah, we couldn't believe how good it tastes. I mean, that was, I thought it might have a weird taste or something, because it's made up of a bunch of mushrooms, but it is splentacular. So we're only going to put about 7 ounces in this one. We move this back far enough so you can see it. Hold on a minute. Let me bring the camera down. We're going to go the full 8 ounces because I put quite a bit of product in this time. And we'll lose a little bit of liquid due to steam. Here's the stirrer, and it is so good, folks. Check this out. This like, because I stir various things in the morning. Take supplements. I consume ground beetroot. Watch this. Fastest, easiest coffee stir in your life. And by the way, batteries are included. All right, so we're going to have to let that sit for a while because that is absolutely scalding hot. And let's head to the living room / music studio because it's time for me to disrobe on camera. Yeah, pardon my lack of what's the right word? Pardon my lack of modesty. It has to do with YouTube. Yeah, it has to do with YouTube. If I'm immodest, I blame YouTube for that. I got to turn on some fans here. Be right back. Press that share button in the meantime. And if you haven't pressed like, I see 2 of you. I see 0 likes. What's up with that? If you want to see my chrysanthemums, leave a comment. Bruce, there's nothing impure, and Dirk, there's nothing unnatural about Ryze mushroom coffee. It's completely natural and completely pure. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, I was hesitant to try it myself, but it's 100%. What do you... Like, we still drink regular coffee here, too. But there are all kinds of health benefits from the mushrooms. So that's why it's a thing. Again, I was hesitant myself because I like regular coffee. So I understand where you're coming from. Buy the smallest pack and save 15% on it via the link in the description. I mean, have I ever steered you wrong? Have I like ever misrepresented anything or like committed fraud on the channel and any of that, folks? Let us know in the comments if I've committed fraud on the channel. Just kidding. There's no chance of that because that's not happened. Hold on a minute, I have to hang up my wet clothes. I like to go for walks in inclement weather to test myself, my resolve, and my gear. I gotta find a place to hang up my rain hat. It's a U.S. military issue ECWS, by the way. This is like the real deal. Check it out. Here's a label for all you military personnel. You've seen that one before, right? Yeah, it's legit. Anyway, I would put on the chrome hat, folks, but it's not so comfy. That chrome hat. The chrome hat is a little bit on the hot side. You know, because it reflects radiation inward too, right? It reflects radiation from coming in, but it also reflects radiation from going out. Namely the infrared radiation coming off of my head. So yeah, it's great for cold weather. Not so good for indoors. The chrome hat. All right, so let's talk space weather. There's some coming. And there's some already here. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. But, oh, the audio doesn't sound right? I mean, I can restart the stream. I'm going to do another stream this morning as well on the computer. Like, without using a smartphone. Because we've got some new brands to announce. Some new brands and some new content coming to the channel. So we're always excited to have a new format and so on. Whew, man, my voice is shattered. And it's like 7 a.m. That's not good. Yeah. But that's what happens when you're a victim of a massive scam and massive fraud. I've fallen for more nonsense. More about that later. Well, hopefully not, actually. Hopefully we'll never have to talk about it. It all depends on if certain entities decide to pay up or not. It's just a matter of how much I'll request that they pay up. I mean, hoping that it's not 80 grand. Be right back. Yeah, pardon my shattered voice, but last week I got the flu and I kicked the flu's ass. Unfortunately, I seem to have developed a secondary infection, and that has been less pleasant than the flu, which is typical for me. My immune system laughs at viruses the same way I laugh at frauds. All right, so let's talk about space weather. Yeah, Brazil, not too close to Wisconsin. It's in the same galaxy. Milky Way galaxy team for the win. Whew. Man, gotta turn on more fans. That's pretty good. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want more of it. All right, let's take a look at the closest star here and see what's going on, because that's what we do. Today I have my tripod and everything. I mean, I'm like loaded for bear. There we go. Not half bad. So let's zoom out one screen here, one level, just to show you a little more of the time and date stamps. There we go. That's pretty decent. That's not too bad. There goes 19. And the sun's pretty inactive here. We got a lot of filaments, but pretty inactive sun. This North Pole coronal hole, we showed this shrinking yesterday. It's still pretty small down there, actually. There's a lot of puffy plasma on the Earth side of the disk. So let's cover it. And while that couple of hours play there on the goes 19 SUVI, let's switch to some space weather stats. I'm going to just pull this tab out. Welcome to the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. All right, let's go through space weather stats here. Sunspot number. Sunspot number is currently all the way down to 67. 67 sunspots, folks. So a bunch of sunspots must have degraded. I guess people like to see the graphics, so let's put this back. Let's put this thing back where it belongs. I'll be able to quick switch back if I want to. What's up with that, dude? There we go. That's pretty good. I like it. So yeah, sunspot number all the way down in the 60s. expect wild swings. That's what happens around solar maximum. Radio flux, just below 120 solar flux units. 119 or 18 SFU. If you talk nonsense about weather, STFU. So, we do have NOAA forecasting mild geomagnetic unrest throughout the day today. And tell us in the comments what you're dressing up as for Halloween. Kimberly, we're going to have to share some reverse aging techniques with you. You're just at the right age, and you have the right skills, talent, and training that you'll be a great example of reverse aging. Maybe you should be the poster gal. The audio's not good? Let me check on that, Dirk. Thanks for bringing it up. Let's see if you're correct or if it's your audio. Can anybody else verify Dirk's claims about the audio cutting out? Oh, I'll hook you up, Kimberly. I'm not willing to coach just anybody for free, but you're a friend.
Are you looking for the most affordable way for heating and cooling to your...
All right, so I'm going to mute this for just a minute. Sounds perfectly fine to me, Dirk. I think you should check your internet connection, sir. Sounds perfectly fine to me, Dirk. All right, anyway, moving right along here, back to space weather stuff instead of claims that are inconsistent with reality. All right, so our real-time solar wind is next, and we are at... Oh, I'm showing 3 days? What the heck am I showing 3 days for? How about 1 year? I never looked at the 1 year. Check it out. There's 1 year. And keep in mind, we're just about 1 year from solar cycle 25 maximum. So, all right, let me bring up 1 day to get some higher res for you here. And we are currently at a little bit of an elevated solar wind here. So could be a CME impact. It looks like a coronal mass ejection impact. So we could jump into geomagnetic storm here just based on this. If these conditions stay like this, we could be at KP6 within the next hour. So yeah, current conditions are about 3.5 protons per cubic centimeter for the solar wind density. That's this. Solar wind velocity, 523 kilometers per second. So there you go. There's the first CME that we forecasted, arriving exactly when I said it was going to arrive. It was stealthy, but there it is. So there's that. You can see the plasma temperature changes, the plasma speed, but not really the density very much. Phi angle does shift, and we see a shift in the magnetic fields. So current conditions with the magnetic fields, that top line there, the BTBZ, 14 nanotesla, pretty strong, and negative 14. So a completely southward oriented BZ, which is the vertical component of the magnetic field, measured at Lagrangian 0.1. No solar energetic particle events. The proton flux is flatlined. Still a B-class background flare range, a B-class background X-ray flux, I should say. Not even a C-class intensification since Tuesday. Do we have any more new CMEs? Well, let's see. If Swoopsy loads, that would be great. Come on, then. Yeah, man, a lot of times if you simply just press refresh, it will help. And sometimes rebooting your PC will help too. Depends on what you're viewing the content on. If you're viewing on a smartphone, it's a different process than if you're viewing on a tablet than on a... Oh, wow. Another big CME this morning here. Check it out. Wow. That's a spectacular one. Once again, that could have earthly directed components. Let's hope it does. Look at that. 5 o'clock this morning on the Lasco C2 and kaboom. And by the way, this is a really cool regime here because look at the way we have this dense central core and then this relatively diffuse area and then a dense outer shell. This does happen sometimes. And sometimes we see this on the solar wind data too. In other words, in here you'll see a very high density and then you see the density drop way down, then you see the density come way back up again. Like sometimes this sort of configuration makes it all the way out into space, like a big bubble. Now it looks like a bunch of the filament is still in the process of ejecting now. Wow. All right, so let's take a look at some filaments because that might show us what has ejected. But before we even do that, let's actually look at ISWA, the Integrated Space Weather Analysis Center, which is looking like it has low bandwidth too. All right, what do we have? Excuse me, let me just read your comments here. All right. Yeah, thanks for investing in some earbuds, Kimberly. Great idea. All right, so we're going to bring up our Stereo A Core 2 Space Weather Beacon. Give me the latest, kid. What do you got? What do you got? I think it automatically loops. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. All right, so do we have this one? It should be coming out soon. There it goes. And once again, we see a halo on the Stereo A. Yeah, this could have earthly directed components. Most of it will likely miss Earth, but there is likely to be some earthly directed plasma here. So, wow, lots of events, and not a lot of coverage of them. Let's see if University Reading has it yet. It's going to be mostly off to the east, so it should be down here somewhere for the most part. No, they do not have that model. Whoa, what's up with that? It's really old. You guys have what? The 20th, 7th, 28th, 29th, 30th. Yeah, they don't have that yet, so they're going to catch that one. Huh, wow. All right, nice. So yeah, there's another CME, coronal mass ejection, likely to have earthly directed components. That was really violent too. Let's check and see what's going on with this. We're going to look at our solar filaments. There we are. And since it happened right around oh my gosh, look at that. It looks like it's this filament here, but it went off to the east. Dude, that is awesome. Look at how freaking awesome that is. All right. So, yeah, look at this filament right here. That's going to have a significant earthly directed component. Because for it to go way over here some of it is going to come right toward your doorstep, folks. That's another Earth-directed CME. And there's going to be a fast component to that, too. So we may see a sudden, very hard impact in, say, as little as 18 to 36 hours. That looked like one of those 3,000 kilometer per second CMEs. So just a great example of how you don't have to have sunspots or solar flares to have absolutely massive coronal mass ejections. Solar flares and coronal mass ejections are separate phenomena. They cannot be used to determine what the other one will do. So you could have an X-class flare with no coronal mass ejection. You could have no flare with, a power grid damaging coronal mass ejection. So yeah, separate phenomena, and a perfect example of how you don't need sunspots or a flare for a CME. Tell your friends and foes not to conflate coronal mass ejections and solar flares. They are not the same thing. All right, so I'm just gonna drop a comment here because I can. No, I want to put the home page, because we run a business here, okay? We would love to break even one of these decades. Just kidding. We haven't been doing this a decade yet, but we're getting close. And so yeah, we'd like to break even one of these days. And come hell or high water, we will break even one day. It could be because we stopped making content, but I'm going to put the homepage in the video in the comments and pin it. Please click it. Visit us on social media. Press subscribe, follow, and press share. Press the share button, because YouTube isn't so good at promoting facts. Let's just say that. So yeah, there's all kinds of activity going on despite low sunspot number and despite low flaring. All right, so let's get back to space weather stats here. We've shown the latest CME that's on the way to Earth. The main component of that looks like it's at a regular speed. So we can expect that to arrive on November 2nd, All Souls Day. Yeah. Tomorrow is All Hallows Eve, otherwise known as Halloween. Saturday is a Catholic holiday known as All Saints' Day. Protestants created another holiday on November 2nd called All Souls Day. All Souls will be mostly fine, but some people might see the aurora, so that's what we're hoping for. Cheers. Moving right along, and there you can see the Boulder magnetometer. When that CME arrived, it was at about 6 o'clock Universal Time this morning. Good times. Let's take a look at Cerro Tololo's, El Taide's ground-based National Sunspot Observatory magnetogram. As you can see, not very complex, not a lot of activity, but major space weather incoming, and lots of it. Again, there are the filaments, and there's the one that blasted off. This one is looking unstable as well. Now, did it really, I don't know. That one definitely looks like it blasted off. So whatever. I'm sticking to my guns on this one. What I said first goes. Facts. Anyway, here's the heliosphere. Earth is in a North Pole-oriented sector, but not for long. There's a South Pole sector rapidly approaching. So in all likelihood, it'll be here by tomorrow, but changes in the eastern limb could affect that forecast. We demonstrated years ago on the channel that we can actually forecast sunspot formation by looking at this and understanding what the data means. Isn't that incredible? Yeah, that's how science works. If you understand the physics and what the data actually is, you too might be able to forecast something. Have you ever seen channels that cover space weather on YouTube but can't forecast anything? I certainly have. It's pretty pathetic. They're paid a lot of money, some of them, to just bloviate nonsense. Excuse me. There is your GOES electron flux, whatever. Here is your total electron content forecast. That's where you can expect to see GPS errors. Let's take a look at the South Atlantic anomaly, as we used to every day on the channel. Let's see what's up with it. I like to consult the Australian Bureau of Meteorology. Now, this will show you the location of the South Atlantic anomaly because the ionosphere sort of follows it. So it's typically right in this area, right around here. Dude, don't give medical advice in the comments. Just get serious. I'm a pro athlete. You're going to tell me to change my pH levels to more acidic? Get serious, dude. By the way, you can't significantly change your pH levels. So how would you expect me to do that, Dirk? That's not a thing. Good God. Don't give medical advice, especially if you don't know what you're talking about, man. It's not healthy for anybody. All right, should we cover meteorology today? Did the Fed lower interest rates? Let's talk regular old everyday news stories while I let the sun play out. By the way, I'm going to be playing out. I've become the front man for a band. Yeah, for real. You may already realize that I sound like a trained vocalist. That's because I'm a trained vocalist. And in order to pave my way for my new career as a cartoon movie villain, I'm gonna become a frontman for a band. The band's already formed. It's called Simulcome. There are already songs in production. The one that's most close to completion is called Imbecile. And actually, if you'd like some imbecile merch, because a lot of people don't realize that imbecile is actually an adjective as well as a noun. So, yeah, if you'd like to check out some imbecile merch, check the Redbubble shop. There are some new products there and some old products gone. So never assume you'll be able to just get the products anytime, folks. They're not always there. Most of them are only there for a limited time. And in fact, we should probably take down most of them. But we recently cleaned house because there was some dirt in the house. I'll just say that. Singing is a high art. Yeah, that's exactly right, Marion. It's pretty hard. And you know what's even harder? Playing guitar for me. I guess most really good guitarists will tell you that singing is harder, but it's the skills you cultivate, right? Those are the easy ones, like cycling for me. Yeah. So singing does seem pretty hard for people because there are a lot of pretty subpar singers out there. Not that they're bad. I mean, if they're singer-songwriters and they're making music, original music, you can't argue with that. That's like Frank Sinatra, right? Frank Sinatra was not a good singer. It's about the songs, right? Anyway, there's an imbecile product in the Red Bubble shop. You can find the link in the description below the video. So let's talk regular old everyday news stories. Yesterday we said the Fed was going to lower interest rates and that the NASDAQ is the most inflated valuation bubble in the history of the stock market, even exceeding the 1999 NASDAQ tech bubble. Yeah, the current tech bubble is a bit worse. Actually, measurably worse. Oh, geez. Guess what? Fund managers reveal their bubble recipes and what to watch for as AI stocks soar. Yeah, because the AI bubble is what's fueling the NASDAQ bubble. Okay? The pioneers in AI, companies like Google and Meta and Twitter and Tesla, they're self-proclaimed pioneers in AI, just like ChatGPT. All they're doing is piling more code on top of more code on top of more code libraries, and they haven't created intelligence. They need to rename their AI UI, unintelligent. Old Frank. Who the hell is Old Frank? All right, anyway. So, did the Fed actually lower interest rates again yesterday? Uh, 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 I don't know, but Meta shares are down because of the spending outlook. Yeah, Meta, they're spending a lot of money on AI and server farms and computing ability. It's like, what? People actually think that the computer code that they're able to access on the internet is intelligence. I mean, a lot of people on the internet use words without knowing the definition of them. Anyway, let's see. Oh, Meta and Microsoft shares fell. Wow. Wow, look at that. There's already some correction happening in those NASDAQ junk stocks. Microsoft and Meta, two of the most pathetic software manufacturers of the last 2 decades. I mean, Facebook used to be literally some of the worst software on the entire internet. And now there are so many competitors, right? Meta didn't come up. A bunch of other crap companies came down to where they were. Like, does anybody remember the 90s and the early 2000s, even up to the 2010s, when there was no such thing as a bug in your software? Now there's no such thing as a software without bugs. How do you like that? Is that fun? You enjoy that? Yeah, dude, Frank, I didn't throw shade on Frank. What I said was that I like Frank Sinatra. He's not a good singer. Frank Sinatra is a technically terrible singer. Listen to him through headphones sometime, and then listen to Norah Jones or, Mariah Carey, or there's so many good singers out there, a million of them. But Frank Sinatra is not one of them. The quality of Frank Sinatra is the songs. And songs are way harder to make than being able to sing notes well. and being able to be a good technical singer. Songs are even higher art than just vocals. By the way, last night we watched Guns N' Roses 1988 live at the Ritz, New York City. Highly recommend you watch that show. It was so good. I mean, it's less than an hour. But yeah, it was filmed by MTV. So, like, they were sort of on their best behavior that night. Because for those of you who know about Guns N' Roses, Guns N' Roses had like 40% of their tickets refunded on that tour because a lot of bad things happened. Riots started. The band went on stage drunk and high on various concoctions of drugs. They ended shows early. Fights broke out. Like fights with the audience, I think, happened between band members. Like, it was bad. I mean, it was like the epitome of, like, rock star dysfunction. But that show was good. Like, oh man. I thought they were going to play You Could Be Mine, from the Terminator 2 soundtrack. But I don't think that was out yet. So, anyway. I just figured I'd share. Yeah, and you know what? Let's cover science stories for once. Covering science stories is pretty cool. And so, yeah, let's do that. That seems like it'd be fun. And how about if I raise my game a little bit? What do you think? I just raise my game just a little bit, cover some science articles, and wonder why my computer did not go to a website I just typed in. I typed in a website, I pressed enter, it stayed on the current website. What the hell is up with that? Now, when you read news articles and magazines, like online, e-zines, when you read those, you got to take stuff with a grain of salt, okay? Because it's clickbait. Everything's clickbait. It's 2025, all right? If you don't know everything's clickbait, then you're probably just clicking on stuff and going, whoa, that's amazing. I didn't know about that thing. So, I'm just looking at SciTechDaily.com, folks. I just want to comment on any articles here that may be interesting. Oh, look, how AI saved NASA's $10 billion Webb telescope from blurry vision. Okay. Like, look, I'm not saying AI is completely not helpful, but the thing is, AI is not intelligence. So what people call AI is an I. The only thing that's artificial is that it's intelligence. So here's a headline for you. Maybe this will catch your attention. The sun's fiery secret waves discovered after 80 years of searching. So that's clickbait. The sun's fiery waves just discovered? I don't think so. And by the way, if you think the universe is electric, please unsubscribe from the channel. The universe is not electric. Comets are not electric. Planetary motions are not electric. Galactic motions do not appear to be electric. Like, how would they be electric? Where are the magic Birkeland currents that all the Wall Thornhill fanboys need to back up their theories, which are definitely not theories? Where are they? They don't exist. That's where they are. They're in their imaginations. Anyway, yes, there are twisting magnetic waves known as torsional Alfvén waves in the sun's corona, ending an 8-decade search that began in the 1940s. I don't know who didn't know this, but they would have had to have been there in order for filaments to behave the way they do. Jeez. We're only going to talk about the space portion of things, and we're only going to look at a couple articles here. Let's see. Building blocks of the universe. Young sun super eruption captured by astronomers. That's pretty cool. Plasma ejections from young stars may offer valuable insights into the sun's early history. Who knew? Did you know that different stars may apply to what the sun does? Yeah. Our basis for cosmology is that we understand how the sun works. The question is, do we really know how the sun works? You know, we can't really see inside of that thing. That thing right there, we can only see down to a sunspot. Below that dark sunspot, we can't see what's underneath there at all, because there are very strong magnetic fields that prevent us from seeing any deeper. Continuing right along, allow me to place your comments adjacent to the... There we are. Yes, Governor. Your name may appear. Part of your name may appear. Can I shrink it down? Not really. All right, so let me just read your comments here. What is this now? Oh, yeah, the alien ship. There's always an alien ship somebody's chatting about. By the way, when you see alien ships, blame a human for it. Because if you see a ship or like a thing that like had to have been like built by like sentient beings, guess who those sentient beings are? Humans. We just don't see evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. In fact, we largely don't see evidence of intelligence with humans on Earth. In fact, on that note, I've got an idea for a new decoration. I'll be right back. And hey, since it's almost Halloween, it's perfect timing. Be right back, folks. In the meantime, press like and share. Here we go. How's that? Oh, you can't see it? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm an anti-dentite. Now, I know it's backwards, folks, because the YouTube front-facing camera can't be flipped horizontal because reasons. However, that says there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere. Some humans are intelligent. Some animals seem more intelligent than many humans. Don't worry, folks. I have not become a misanthrope. Despite a lot of encouragement, I'm not actually a misanthrope. Oh, I could be. I have plenty of reasons to despise humans. Dirk, do you want to be fucking muted? Are you a dickhead today? Is today your day to talk out your fucking ass, dude? What is your fucking problem, boomer? Why don't you go walk the plank before I fucking come to Australia and keel haul you? You want to be keel hauled, Dirk? Don't be a dick. God damn, what a douche. Is your mom aware that you're like that you're such a douche, don't tell her. Just become less of a douche. And she'll be like, Dirk, you're totally not an asshole today. And thanks for reminding me to get my mushroom coffee, you douche. God damn, man. Brush your brain and learn what a satellite is. Walk the plank, Dirk. I'm not upset. You're just an asshole. Feel like clotheslining you off of a cliff. You want to be clotheslined? I've created a new pro wrestling move just for people like you. It's called the club line. And here's how it works. You know how a clothesline, we go like this? Well, with a club line, we just have a 90-degree angle. Kind of like this. Is that what you'd like? You want to step in the squared circle, bitch? You definitely don't. All right, let's cover Earth weather and close this mother out. Yeah, way to go, Dirk. Way to be a dick doucher. I'm just going to show the water vapor map because this stream needs to end ASAP. Dag. Yeah, let's show the full mother. That's pretty good. Dag. Look at the moisture. And it's all being entrained. Oh, and by the way, I'm not your bro. I don't have any siblings, bitch. Yeah, you've triggered me to want to knock you unconscious. Like, that's about it. Douche. Hey, I got an idea, Dirk. Why don't you start a YouTube channel? How about that? You start a YouTube channel, talk about anything that you're skilled at. I'll be impressed if you are. Skilled at anything is what I meant. All right, so we're getting some major rain here in Pennsylvania. And that's really weird. I mean, I got to see what's going on here because something funky's happening, folks. Something funky. And it's not weather manipulation. It's, there's a low off of Jersey here. That's what's up. What do we got? Wind. Oh, that's just high winds. Okay, yeah, there's a low over West Virginia here. There it is. That's the low right there. That's what's driving the weather. This it's a very weak low, but in comparison to the surrounding air masses, as you can see, and it is sort of attached to the massive hurricane there, Hurricane Melissa. A great name for a hurricane, by the way, because there are a lot of crazy bitches called Melissa. I know firsthand. Let's check the pressure. All right, that's pretty low, folks. Look at that. 961. Wow. We've gotten too close. (961 hectopascals). So I'm not sure what category it is. I don't care what category it is. Let's show the satellite imagery so you can see the cloud tops. I'm sure it's intensified, and it looks like the eye wall is reforming. Love it. There's a freaking fantastic view. Look at that. And I see is that brown clouds? That's not brown clouds. That's just the sunrise, baby. Look at that. That is glorious. Freaking spectacular. It looks like all the lightning is there on the southeastern portion of it. We got a whole bunch of giant puffy clouds to the south. That is some good imagery right there, folks. Windy.com. The mobile app is free, and I highly recommend it. It's all right, man. It's all in good fun. Yo, I appreciate criticism that is valid, but like, they're very yellow, and I'm not gonna get them bleached because it is gonna cause tooth sensitivity, and I don't want that. So yeah, I'm an anti-dentite. You know why? Because I used to work for a dentist, and I made a whole lot of money, and it's just one of many, 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 many incompetent employers over the past 25 years. Yeah, 25 years of strictly incompetent employers. One after the next, after the next, after the next. So there's that. It's almost like there's no intelligent life that's willing to give you a job. So now when I worked there, I was kidding about being an anti-dentite, and now I'm a real anti-dentite. Specifically with one dentist in particular, Mike Kana of Bionic Smile. What a douchebag! Anyway, back to the Hurricane Melissa coverage. Yeah, lots of lightning there on the southeastern portion. It's exciting. Why are there lines? It's like it doesn't want to load or something. Ugh. It's always something, right? Anyway, let's check wind gusts. Maybe we can figure out the maximum winds. Like, we're not going to see the maximum sustained winds, but oh man, that looks dag. So over 100 miles an hour there. 120 miles an hour for the wind gusts. Seems like a bad time to be out on the ocean. Not a good day to be in the Bermuda Triangle, folks. The Bermuda Triangle currently has like 40-foot waves. In fact, let's take a look at that from nullschool.net. They got a great feature called Significant Wave Height. Ocean, waves. Oh no, we got to see now. There we are. Look at that. And the biggest waves in the world, folks, well, they're coming to Bermuda. But at the moment, I'm sure they're right in here. 40 footers as forecasted. You saw it happen in real time. 40 footers. Not the best day to be SV Thora sailing in that part of the Atlantic. Although we got some massive waves up here too. Nearly 40 footers here in the northeastern Pacific. Also at Antarctica. These might even be bigger. Look at that. Oh man, those are the biggest waves. Look at that. Bigger waves here than associated with Hurricane Melissa. 42 footers there in the Southern Ocean. Now that is the most inhospitable place in the world. You might think it's that Western Atlantic, but it's probably right here. Imagine what that place is like. Let's take a look at the, not that. I want to look at, Well, first of all, is there a low? Not really. Could be high pressure, but I doubt it. What do we got? Um, I'm experiencing I'm experiencing brain fog, but it's getting better. It's getting better. All right, so oh yeah, we do have heavy winds here. Geez, look at this. 935 hectopascals. That is a way lower pressure than that hurricane, folks. Look at that. That is pure weather violence right there. Let's take a look at total what is it called? Total cloud water. There you go. Yeah, that's a significant system there. If you look at pressure, you will find that it is low. Dag. That is just nasty. Don't sail to that place, Dirk. It'll be very unfortunate. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't work anymore. Of course the Bermuda Triangle works. The Bermuda Triangle is caused by an ocean gyre. So the reason that the Bermuda Triangle is a thing is because it's the Sargasso Sea is the only sea in the world that has no land surrounding it. So this area right down here south of Bermuda, that's where all the eels go to breed. There's a huge kelp bed there. And the Sargasso Sea features winds that don't blow in any particular direction. So the Bermuda Triangle is all too real, especially for sailing ships. If you have no motor, you don't want to go to the Bermuda Triangle because you might not be able to leave. This is what gave rise to the tales of ghost ships and things, because ships would really get stuck there, sometimes for like months at a time. Of course, the Great Lakes Triangle is much more dangerous, statistically speaking, but that's because there's a lot of shipping that goes through the Great Lakes, and the Great Lakes are very dangerous because of the inlets. So if you look at the Great Lakes, see right here, where Superior meets Huron, I guess you'd say, or right here where Michigan meets Huron, or where Huron meets Michigan, or where like the ends of all these lakes. When you have a wave that's propagating across this lake, it might be a 10-foot wave when it's here, but if it propagates into here as the water gets shallower and shallower, the energy has nowhere to go. So that 10-foot wave could become a 50, 60-foot wave. This area right here, the Mackinac Straits Bridge, very dangerous. I mean, my grandfather experienced it because he helped to lay the pylons for that. He helped to measure the location of the pylons for the towers. And there was one day where, a thunderstorm rolled in, and Lake Superior is not shallow. Ontario and Erie are shallow, but Michigan, Huron, and Superior are not shallow. But anyway, the one day a thunderstorm rolled in, right? And they could see it off on the lake. And they were on one of the platforms, right? And they had to get picked up by a boat. And by the time the boat got there to pick them up, the seas were already like 10 footers where they were. And so the boat was going up and down 10 feet. So when they jumped off of the pylon onto the boat, they had to literally wait for the boat to be up to jump on it. I mean, that's sketchy. That's a great way to like get your hand chopped off or something, like serious stuff. But that's what happens at the Great Lakes. The narrow inlets magnify the waves. So, the interior of the lake is big enough for a 20, 30-foot waves. When a 20, 30-foot wave gets into a shallow inlet, it becomes a 40, 50, 60, 70, 80-foot wave. And, this happens around Alaska, too. There are plenty of accounts of massive waves at Alaska. So, yeah, I mean, as a surf nerd, I think about this stuff. I am very fatigued in terms of my voice. As you can hear, it is getting lower and lower, and I'm sounding more and more like a Sith Lord. All right, so we're going to show the jet stream here. We're going to show the surface winds first. Here are the surface winds of the U.S. We got some heavy winds there over Lake Erie. Some strong southerly winds there over Lake Michigan there. Looks like a windy day in Chicago. A city that blows. Oh, I'm sorry, the Windy City. It kind of blows. And there are our jet streams. That's a 250 hectopascal winds. And here's me signing off. So I'm going to bring up some imagery of the closest star here. I see a bunch of people just joined. Please watch the beginning of the stream when we talk space weather because there's more on the way. Visit the links in the description. Press like and share. If you're new to the channel, press subscribe. I see 14 people and 5 likes. So press the thing or things, and we'll see you soon here at the Smash News. I've been your host, Dan, aka Smash-a-Mash, signing off. I'm going to leave this on for a minute here, just because I like you. And stay tuned to the channel because there's another stream coming in a couple of hours. See you soon. Don't be a stranger, but do be stranger. Oh, and one last thing. If I don't see it until Halloween, happy Halloween, and may that solar wind be at your back. Wow, so many viewers here. I mean, 20 viewers and 5 likes. Like, how about pressing the like button, the share button, and so on? Um, you know, we only put out the world's most comprehensive daily space weather content. Once again, just like we did to get the channel to where it is today. So please help us out, because there's a lot of nonsense about space weather on YouTube, and YouTube does a pathetic and contemptible job of promoting the channel. By the way, you'll find a link in the description to Ryze mushroom coffee, and I tried it today without any sweetener. So this is just the mushroom coffee and the superfood creamer that comes with it, and it still tastes like you don't have to have creamer in it. You know, there's a little bit of bitterness to it. There's an earthy, like a nutty, earthy flavor, and yeah, it's highly recommended. Save 15% with our link. And we'll close out the stream here just with some 131 angstroms. Now, we're not likely to see any major solar flares here, but the likelihood of additional coronal mass ejections is very high because we've got a lot of unstable plasma. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. And when I say ion, well, the pun is intentional. Maybe I'll even release a video about the filament releases that I downloaded yesterday. It's just not really a priority because, well, because it's YouTube, pretty much. So yeah, that's where we'll close this live stream out. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in. Congratulations to everybody who's realized that the channel exists. We'll see you next time. And have fun. Don't have too much fun. People still do go to mental institutions for that.